Hi, everyone. We are drawn to stories of resilience where people overcome immense struggles and transform their suffering into strength. We are captivated by these stories. Someone has endured deep pain, survived abuse, battled addiction, or faced a hardship, and then bam, one moment changes everything, setting them on a path to fulfillment. I love a good story of someone overcoming and living their best life. But let's be honest, that's as sugar-coated as it gets. That's like slapping a band-aid on a broken bone and calling it healed. If only it were that simple, right? Real healing doesn't work that way. It's a daily commitment to reparent yourself, and that is not easy. It takes a lot of work, patience, and compassion. It requires us to look deeply at ourselves, to feel the pain we've had buried for years, to feel emotions that are too heavy to carry yet too painful to face. What you suffered will not suddenly disappear. You cannot kiss away trauma like a boo-boo on your inner child and expect the damage to magically heal. Healing asks us to face the wounds that made us vulnerable, to tend to them and learn how to live beyond them. But now, let's say you're in that middle space, the exhausting in between place where you've committed to healing, you're doing the work, you've buckled down months ago, but happiness still feels so far out of reach. I remember feeling like I was running a marathon with no finish line. I thought I was making progress only to be blindsided by another wave of emotions. Every step forward, it felt like two steps back for me. If you've ever felt like that, I want you to know you are deeply seen and understood in this experience. Many of us are walking the same path, sometimes finding release only to get hit with another trigger, to struggle with another wound, or discover another part of ourselves that needs a tremendous amount of care. And so the work continues. Healing from trauma is not a one-time breakthrough where everything magically gets better overnight. For us trauma survivors, there's loneliness, fear, and deep exhaustion for surviving so long. There's grief for everything we've lost. There's that lingering feeling of not belonging and the aching fear that the simple good things in life may never be ours. This is truly a phase of healing that all trauma survivors go through, especially those of us who have endured pervasive childhood trauma. We are working to reclaim our lives, learning to trust ourselves, and navigate a path that often feels uncertain. We are all in this same boat and we're all living it and navigating it together. And it's a daily commitment to heal and free ourselves from the trauma-driven problems of our past. So today, I want to talk about why healing can feel so frustrating, angry, and hopeless, and what to do when it feels like you've done everything right, but happiness still feels out of reach. My name is Kerri McKenna Reece, trauma recovery coach and accredited complex trauma instructor with a dedication to helping others navigate the deep, messy, and often isolating process of healing. So let's start by talking about the hardest part of healing. Healing isn't just about fixing what is broken, it's about facing the reality of what's left behind after the worst is over. The exhaustion from constantly keeping ourselves together, managing our emotions, reliving the pain in real time, and presenting a stable front to the world while feeling like we're barely holding on inside. It's also the grief over what was lost, a loving mother's embrace, a father's steady guidance, the warmth of family gatherings, the deep-rooted sense of belonging that should have been ours. That is our birthright. It's mourning the relationships that never had a chance to grow, the unconditional love we deserved but never received. It's the quiet ache for the connection, not only with others, but with ourselves, a connection fractured before we even understood what was missing. And then there's the childhood moments stolen, the first in our lives that were tainted, the memories that should have been safe but were instead marked by pain, the opportunities lost not by our own doing, but by a past that left us fighting for a future we're still learning to believe that we deserve. And it's the fear that no matter how much we heal, the good life might always just feel out of reach, as if it's reserved for others, even for those who have hurt us. It seems as if life is effortless for them. They live their life carefree, unburdened, while we fight daily just to feel okay. And then there's the resentment, the kind that creeps in and lingers when you see people around you who haven't done the work, those still caught in destructive cycles, somehow finding love, stability, and the very things you're fighting so hard for, a relationship, a family, and stability. It feels unjust, like the universe forgot all about you, forgot to repay you for all your hard work and healing and choosing to love yourself and all the good you've done in the world. Maybe you find yourself thinking, why do they get to have these things while I'm here alone, trying so damn hard? I hear you and I get it. If healing were a frequent flyer program, I'd have enough miles to circle the earth twice by now. For so many of us, this is a shared experience. We walk the path of healing, doing the deep work, yet happiness still feels like it's lingering just beyond our reach. And we wrestle with the unfairness, wondering if healing is even worth it. But here is some truth. This struggle is not proof that healing has failed you. It's proof that you are transforming. True healing isn't just about finding happiness. It's about reclaiming your power, your intuition, and your ability to create a life that aligns with the deepest part of who you authentically are. I've seen this pattern in so many people. You commit to healing, you do the work, and yet instead of feeling better, you feel angry, bitter, and alone. You watch others, people with toxic habits, unstable relationships, no self-awareness, somehow still finding partners, buying homes, having kids. Meanwhile, you've done everything right. You've prioritized your needs, set firm boundaries, and honored them. Yet instead of feeling more connected, you feel more isolated. It makes you wonder, was healing even worth it? Should I have just stayed in my mess because at least then I wasn't alone? You're not irrational for thinking this way, and you're not flawed for feeling this way. Your emotions are 100% valid and your struggle is 100% real. This is what healing looks like in motion. No one ever talks about how messy the in between feels. No one talks about that. It's that profound space between who you were and who you're becoming, a threshold where growth meets resistance and transformation takes root. It carries a really strange weight. It's not a weight that crushes you, but a force that tugs at you hard. It's a crossroads where the past pulls at you with the comfort of old habits and familiar ways of coping, while the unknown calls you forward with this quiet, scary, uncertain, unfamiliar promise that's filled with the possibility of something better. One side wants to keep you behind in the familiar, screaming for what it knows, and the other, that uncertain, unfamiliar promise, it wants to see you move ahead. It's your soul gently nudging you towards something greater, a deeper awakening of who you authentically are. You've been wandering through life for years without a map, but it knows you still have the strength. And these gentle nudges are to remind you that even without a map, you were always meant to find your way. This crossroads is where hesitation thrives, the place where you wonder if you should turn back or even try at all. Moving forward means facing what you don't want to and sitting where you don't want to sit, right? It means leaving behind versions of yourself that you've known for so long, versions that give you a small sense of safety, even though they are so unhealthy. And that's terrifying. It's uncomfortable, it's unsettling. You're standing in the unknown into this vast, uncharted space between who you were and who you're becoming, and your only guide at this moment is the quiet whisper of your own resilience, right? You're not who you were. You're not who you're meant to be. You're just caught in this vast in between, a place that feels like nowhere, yet it holds everything. You're suspended, feeling very alone between a past that won't let go and a future that hasn't taken shape. And it's a space where you lack trust in yourself. And this blind faith steps in and it's pulling you forward. And from my own experience, this place can and will break you if you let it. Because when you don't know what's coming next around the corner, the mind is drenched with anxiety, scrambling to fill the gaps, hustling for a sense of safety. And as survivors living in hypervigilance our whole lives, we live in fear of what we don't know. And our mind, it's driven by that fear with doubt then sets in and we tell ourselves, I'm bad, I'm not good enough, I'm shameful, I don't deserve better, I'm not valuable. And we find ourselves trapped in this cycle of fear, doubt, and worry, desperately clinging to the familiar even when it no longer fits. But it truly no longer serves us, right? Even when it hurts us and stifles our growth, right? We hold on to these old coping mechanisms, these old behaviors, not because they serve us well or because they are healthy, but because they are known. They offer us a false sense of safety in a world that feels very uncertain and very scary. Have you ever felt like you've been on the edge of something new, exciting, and fun, only to feel the hooks of the past pulling you back? That's because the old version of you doesn't let go easy. It lingers, it negotiates. And when I say it negotiates, I mean it negotiates to keep you small and unhappy. It criticizes and condemns. It does everything it can to sink its claws into you and convince you that the unknown isn't worth the risk. Even in pain, the familiar feels safer than the unknown. That's why it's so easy to stay stuck. It's not because you don't want to grow. It's just that the space in between is about as comfortable as stepping on a Lego barefoot at 3 a.m. And let's be real, no one is running towards that. You retreat backwards really quick to the closest ground you know, the one before the Legos, one that feels safe and pain-free, even though it means stepping backwards. You choose certainty over expansion. And you survive only within the limits of what you've already explored. You never want to step on that Lego again. You're safe. And that's something new that really excited you. It slowly withers away. But here's what I want you to hear. You are in a necessary phase of healing. And this part, it's not the end, it's the beginning. But before things get better, they often feel worse because healing isn't just about moving forward, it's about leaving behind what no longer serves you. We have to step forward off of that Lego, not back. This phase of healing can be lonely, but let me share with you why it doesn't mean you're alone. When you start healing, something happens. Your energy shifts. You become more self-aware. You start recognizing red flags and refusing to settle for toxic cycles. At first, it feels like a punishment, like you've lost more than you've gained. The people who used to be in your life, they don't fit anymore. Not because you're broken, but because you're growing, right? You truly feel like you're alone. But that emptiness isn't a loss. It's making space for people who truly align with you. It's making space for healing. Not because you're broken, it's because you are breaking the cycle. The people who seem to just find relationships despite their unhealthy patterns, those relationships often come with instability, chaos, and pain. We don't always see that in the relationship of other people. We see what they allow us to see, not what really is going on behind closed doors. It's not that love and connection are out of reach for you. It's that love and connection that you truly deserve might take longer because you're choosing to break the cycle and not repeat it. And knowing that, however, that it doesn't make this part of healing any easier. Right? You find yourself in this dreaded in between, and you've unlocked and stepped into the least fun stage of healing, right? So what do you do here? Besides Google, why does healing suck? But if that is how you found this video, though, I hope you gained from it tremendously. But let's talk about how we survive this in-between stage. Healing is not a transaction. It doesn't instantly grant rewards or erase the past. What it does is far more profound than that. It rebuilds the foundation of who you are. It teaches you to trust yourself again. It reconnects you with the voice of your soul, your instincts, that internal compass that is woven into the fiber of your being and gives you sound advice, blessing you with words of wisdom and good decisions when the world puts pending pain or danger in your path. It's that built-in red flag detector that helps you discern what is truly safe and aligned with your authentic self. That part of you that has always known the truth, even when you didn't have the strength to hear it or speak it. Choosing to heal daily is an act of radical self-love. It's a declaration that you will no longer abandon yourself. It empowers you to reconnect with your true essence, to trust in your instincts, and to honor the wisdom within you. And as you move forward, you begin to live in alignment with your soul's truth, breaking free from old patterns and stepping fully into the life you were always meant to live. The loneliness, the exhaustion, the waiting, it's not the end of your journey. It's the bridge to something so much greater. So, what do you do when you're stuck in this frustrating middle, this lonely place? Well, life gave you a spiritual schooling. So, let's unpack the lesson. Here are 5 things that will help when you feel like you're lost in the in between. These are not shortcuts, they're tools to help you to keep moving forward. Number 1, write it down. Get the anger, the resentment, the fear, get it onto paper. This isn't about fixing them. It's about getting to know them on the deepest level. It's about understanding the intricate layers of your emotions, unraveling the patterns that have shaped you, and learning how to nurture yourself in ways you were never taught. It's about meeting the truest version of yourself, the one that existed before the world told you that you were not good enough, right? Before it told you who you should be, right? Number 2, let yourself feel your emotions. Stop trying to find a way around the pain. Anger needs space. Grief needs time. Every emotion you feel is a messenger guiding you to a deeper self-awareness. What is something your emotions have been trying to tell you lately? Instead of resisting them, listen. What is your anger trying to protect? What is it telling you? What is your grief asking you to acknowledge? These emotions, they hold the key to your healing, revealing wounds that need tending and truths that demand to be seen and heard. Give yourself permission to feel it all and allow these emotions to teach you what they are meant to reveal. Number 3, find a community, not toxic relationships, not distractions, but real spaces where healing is understood and supported, where you are free to be your most vulnerable self, to express your emotions without fear, to be surrounded by people who encourage your growth rather than hinder it. These are the spaces where transformation happens, where you can rebuild trust in yourself and in others, and where you find a sense of belonging that nurtures your soul. Number 4, meditate even when you don't want to. Stillness helps your nervous system regulate. Even 5 minutes a day makes a huge difference. Cold weather also resets your nervous system. Get out in it. Feel the crisp air against your skin. Allow it to ground you in the present moment. Let nature remind you that you are alive, that you are connected to something greater than your pain. The sensations you experience in those moments are signals from your body. They're reminders of resilience and invitations to truly inhibit yourself, right? Embrace them, listen to what they tell you, and know that healing is happening, even in the quietest moments. I strongly, strongly do not like the cold, and I often say that I'm allergic to it because I have bad memories of abuse in the wintertime as a toddler. But the cold resets my nervous system. I had to learn to get out in it when I needed it for healing and regulation. I go camping in it, I hike in it, or I just step outside in it because it helps. And number 5, trust the process. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a winding road full of detours, setbacks, and moments of doubt, much like stepping on that unexpected Lego in the middle of the night. Just when you think you're making progress, something sharp catches you off guard. But just as you learn to navigate around those painful moments, you also learn to keep moving forward, adjusting, growing, and healing. Every step you take, no matter how small it is, it's progress. Trust that even in the moments when it feels like nothing is changing, growing, it is happening, right? It's all happening beneath the surface, right? You are learning to listen to yourself, to honor your emotions, to find your way back to who you truly are. Healing is not about rushing to the end point. It's about allowing yourself the grace to move forward at your own pace. So be patient with yourself. Be kind. Every moment you choose to keep going, you prove to yourself just how strong you truly are. And one day you will look back and realize that all of this, the pain, the struggle, the loneliness, it was leading you somewhere beautiful. Again, healing isn't a straight line, but this part, the loneliness, the frustration, the exhaustion, this is the space where the real transformation happens. If you're watching this, I want you to know you're not broken. You are in transition. Remember, you are becoming. So keep going. The life you're working towards is coming. The loneliness will pass. The right people, the ones who truly see you, who value you, who match the person you're becoming, they will find you. Until then, keep going. Healing is brutal, it's messy, it's lonely, but you're still here. And that means you're already doing the hardest part. And that is showing up for yourself. You don't have to do this alone. If you need support, consider scheduling a consultation with me. Let's work together to rebuild trust in yourself, break free from these old patterns, and create the life you deserve. You can find the link in the description. You're already healing. You are already changing. And I promise you are already closer than you think. Thank you for watching. Your healing matters, your voice matters, and together we rise. If this video resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content on healing and personal transformation. And if you know someone who might need to hear this, share this video with them. Healing is a journey best walked together, and your support could make all the difference for someone else.